Let's talk about Mansa-X Special Fund. A special fund is a type of investment where your money is being used to invest in multiple assets that the fund manager, the guy who has your money, sees fit to invest in. When you think about investing in a special fund, we're talking about your money being used to invest in stocks, and not just locally, but also globally. We're talking about your money being used to invest in fixed income funds like bonds. We're talking about your money being used to invest in currencies and, make some gain from currencies, especially strong currencies like the Japanese yen, the euro, and all these other strong currencies. We're talking about your money being used to invest in precious metals. Think about precious metals like gold. Gold still has its value. So your money is not just being used to do one investment, but different types of investments, different classes of investments. Your money is being used to invest in diversified assets. That's a special fund. Mansa-X Special Fund is a fund by Standard Investment Bank. They've been around for quite some time, but this fund came into being in 2019. So it's around 5 to 6 years old. Now, the Mansa-X Fund allows you to invest money that is in local currency, in Kenyan shillings. So if you have access to Kenyan shillings, which most of us have, you can actually invest here. You can also invest USD. So assuming that you are paid in USD, dollars, you're privileged to have a job where you're paid in dollars, you can actually invest here without you exchanging your money. You just do a direct investment that is in dollars. That's the good thing. The other thing is that if you want to invest in this account, like your opening minimum amount, your opening capital is 250,000 Kenyan shillings. That's the minimum amount. You can't invest 100K, you can't invest 50K for the first time. It has to be 250K. That is if you want to invest in the Kenyan shillings special fund. If you want to invest in the USD one, $1,000 is the minimum, or rather $2,500 is the minimum amount. For top-ups, for Kenyan shillings, you have to do an additional top-up of 100K. So assuming that you invested 250K, you now have to invest 100K on top. For USD, $1,000 is the additional minimum top-up that you can do. The other thing is that they have a hurdle rate of 25%. The reason why it's a hurdle rate, it's because it's not yet been achieved, but they're looking forward to achieve it. And in case they achieve it, there's a fee that is 10%. A 10% fee that is above the hurdle rate. What I mean is this. Assuming that you did an investment here, you invested 250,000 Kenyan shillings, and that year the rate of return was, let's say it turned out to be 27%. 27%. 27% is above what they were targeting. There's an excess of 2% on top. Okay. Okay, I have an issue with my pen, but okay. I've just done 27% minus, rather 27%, which has been achieved, minus the 25%, which they were looking forward to achieve. The extra 2%, which is like a bonus, they're going to charge you 10% of that, and you remain with 90% of that. Another example, assuming that this 2% represents just an example of 10,000 bob. Just an example, this is not accurate. Assuming that this excess percentage, the excess interest that was surpassed, represents 10,000 shillings, because the 10,000 shillings is the extra amount, 10% of this is going to be taken out, such that 10% is 1,000 bob, such that you're going to take 9K home and 1,000 bob goes to them. So that's what this means, because it actually encourages them to want to perform better, since they also get something on top if they win. It's a win-win situation for you and them. The other thing is in terms of management fee. They have a management fee of 5% that is prorated daily. By prorated, I mean 5% is their management fee. This 5% you have to divide it by 365 days so that you're able to know, this is days, so that you're able to know the management fee that is charged on that day. The management fee is not like a flat fee where they say we're going to charge you 5% of 250K. No, it's prorated. It's going to be based on the amount of money that is in your account on that day. Assuming that you invested 250,000 to begin with, and you did an additional top up of 100K a month later, for that month, or let's just say even 2 days later, after you've topped up the 250K, you top up 100K. After the 2 days, the management fee is going to be based on the 350K that is there, and it's going to be per day. So 5% divided by 365 days, you're going to come up with a percentage that is like 0.00035%, something. That is the interest rate that is going to be charged on that day. It's not like a one-time fee that is just charged once. It's actually charged daily. That's what prorated means. Another example is that let's just take for 250K. You've done the minimum 250K. 250K investment. So for you, the charge that you're going to be charged on that one day, for that one day, is going to be 250K times 5%, which is the charge, divided by 365 days, which is going to come to around 34 bob. I'm not smart that I did that. I actually did this calculation earlier on. So for 250K, they charge you like 34 bob or 32 bob there for that one day. That's the meaning of prorated and the management fee. The other thing is that their interest compounds quarterly. That is after every 3 months. So you earn an interest, you earn an interest, you earn an interest. That interest after 3 months is now added to the amount of money that is going to be in your bank account or in your special fund account. And it's now used to calculate the interest for the next month. It's quarterly, it's not daily like in a money market fund. For money market fund, compounding is 365 days. Let me write it here for money market fund. But here it's the 3 days represents times. So for money market fund, your money is going to be compounding 365 times in a year. But for this, your money is only going to be compounding 4 times in a year. Only 4 times. That's how long it's going to be compounded. The other thing about Mansa-X is that the lock-in period is 6 months. Assuming that you've decided to open an account, you can't access your money for the first 6 months. It has to stay there. You can't touch it. Leave your money there so that you're able to see how it's growing. Plus, remember, this money is not that liquid. Like, it's not cash for now. This money has been used to invest in stocks. This money has been used to invest in precious metals. This money has been used to buy bonds. So ideally, this can't be like your emergency fund account. It can't be. Leave your money there for 6 months. The other thing that I saw was that their average net return since their inception in 2019 is that it's been 17.84%. This is the average. They came in 2019, so the average return in 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 2020, up to 2024 has been 17.84, the average. So it keeps on changing. This is just the mean. This is a good return. And this is the net return. This is not the gross return. This is after this management fee. This is after tax. This is what you expect to get in your bank account, to hit your bank account. Why would you want to invest your money here? I would say put your money here if you have that excess cash that you don't want to touch in the meantime, that you're planning to touch at the end of the year or at the end of 2 years or at the end of 3 years. It can also be like a savings account for that one big project. This is not just limited to Mansa-X, but to any special fund. After 6 months, you can actually withdraw your money. So in case you want to take advantage of another investment, you can always withdraw your money, but that is after the 6 months lock-in period. I can say the return is a good return. 17.84% net as the average. It's a good return. The other thing is that, remember, this money is in multiple assets. So in as much as it's risky, it's not like that risky, because your money has been used in different investments. It's diversified. It's not just in bonds. It's not just in the stock markets. It's almost like a little bit of everywhere, but more of the area that is bringing in more return. Like, so it's like a strategy that they have that your fund manager will use to ensure that your 250K and more brings in more income. The downside to this is in terms of I don't know if you can see this as a downside to somebody who doesn't have the 250K. If you don't have the 250K, this is not your fund. It depends on how you view it. 250K might be little for some, might be most for some, might be manageable for some. But if you have that lump sum that you feel like you're going to touch, just put it here, that 250K, as you think about it, as you think about your goals. The other thing is that in terms of goals, you can always like select your goal. If your goal is to buy a car at the end of the year, if your goal is to buy land at the end of the year, you can just have the 250K, save up up to 100, and then you do another 100K. It's a great way for that one big project that requires you to set aside money and save. Like I said, this is a product of Standard Investment Bank. Their product is regulated, is actually licensed by the Capital Markets Authority. Yeah, what do you think? Would you invest your money here? Would you, like, if you had 250K, if you had it, would you invest here? I'd love to know your thoughts on the comments. Thank you for watching and see ya.